What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. You guys, welcome back to Gotta Love Them Movies, your place to talk about the stuff that you love. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time, and this has just been a long, glorious week. I say it's a glorious week because, like, a lot of stuff is happening in my life, of which we will talk about in just a minute. But helping me talk about all things movies and movie news and maybe some of the life stuff is, you know her, you love her, it's Natalie Kaz. Woo-hoo! Natalie, why is it so often that when I go to introduce you on the show, you are frozen? You are completely frozen. You're so frozen. Natalie, if you can hear me right now, please hang up on Skype and then call me right back. This is the most annoying thing in the world, you guys. You do your best. You do your best to produce a decent content show. I'm just gonna text Natalie real quick and say hang up and call me back, please. There she is. Now she's doing it. All right, you guys. Sorry, this is just the worst. Just the worst. When technology works, it's awesome. But when technology don't work, it all gets gummed up. All right, let's try this again. Man. You guys, I apologize. This is quite unprofessional of me to do. And I'm trying to. I'll let you know what's going on my side, on the producing side of things right now. I'm trying to keep the show flowing, so at least there's some semblance of not negative space. But I'm also trying to not just hang up on Skype, but I have to shut the program down entirely. Okay, let's call Natalie back. Let's see if this works. Natalie! Hey. There you are. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Natalie Kaz.
Yes. We're going to have to get a default photo of me to cut to whenever that happens, where you can just be like... And that could be the picture while my voice goes.
It's so frustrating because, we do all that we can to try and keep things seamless. And, this is not a show about overcoming technical difficulties. We're here to talk about movies and TV shows and all that stuff. And then when this stuff happens, I'm like everything comes to a screeching halt, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do about it. Anyway, Natalie, I briefly said that I've got some pretty big news coming. I'm getting married. Married.
I'm gonna act like I knew that already because I did.
I'm not gonna tell anyone. Well, Natalie, you know the date that we're getting married, but I'm not making it public knowledge. Just yet. We haven't even sent invites out yet. I literally texted you and I said, "Where I'm getting married."
And that's all I know about it. That's all I know.
I have announced before that it's going to be at the Central Park Boathouse here in New York City. So that bit of information has been leaked by me. But other than that, the date, it is this year. It is fall of this year, but official invites are still yet to go out. Has nothing to do with movies, but I still think it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty stoked about it.
I officiated a wedding this past weekend in Pennsylvania.
Tell me about it. You know, it's funny you say that because I have also officiated a wedding in Pennsylvania.
Of course, that's where, because apparently, I don't know if people know this at home. I definitely didn't know this. You know how you have to be, in most states in the United States, an ordained minister and or licensed to officiate. Correct. In Pennsylvania, you can officiate your own wedding. So essentially the bride and groom signed up to self-officiate, and I just was there in a ceremonial sense. So it was really fun. I would do it again in a heartbeat, especially if it's someone I know. I think it'd be weirder if I didn't know them, but it was a beautiful wedding, and it was so nice to be at an outdoor wedding in which everybody was vaccinated, and
Oh,
we all
man.
had a really great time. We
So
danced.
cool. Hey, well, there's going to be
So
dancing at my
cool.
wedding. I do want to say real quick, again, this has nothing to do with movies or anything. We're going to get to that in a minute. But when I officiated my friend's wedding, Nora and Wayne, when they got married, and I'm like the most religious of all their friends. So they're like, Mike, will you do this? And I said, yeah, sure. So I came up with this, what I thought was a pretty fun idea. But the as you point out, like you need like a legal officiant to actually say I now like make it legal. I'm just standing there as like a fun whatever.
You're
Yeah, I'm
some
just some
guy.
guy. So the justice of the peace got sick that day, and he called up his buddy who said, hey, I'm supposed to do this wedding. Can you step in for me and do it? And so this guy had to take time off of his precious golf game to come in and marry my friends Nora and Wayne. And so he switched up the whole order of it. Instead of me starting the whole thing and going through the whole process and the whole ceremony, and then he steps in at the very end and says, I now pronounce you man and wife. He started it and then like totally derailed everything of what I had planned and what I wanted to do. I think this was kind of fun. I was going to have everybody stand and say, ladies and gentlemen, please extend your right hand towards the bride, offering her all of your love and support and hopeful wishes and all that. Now put your right hand behind you and kind of shake off all those negative bad feelings so we can start this marriage off to a good start. Now that same right hand extended out to the groom. So essentially I had everybody doing the hokey pokey, but like incognito, and I thought it was like really
Yeah.
funny and really silly. I thought that was going to be a great start, but thanks to that stupid just of the piece, he messed it up for everybody.
Well, next
Next time,
Hokey Pokey. And Macarena is definitely going to be on my list if you officiate at your wedding.
hey, I'm in. You got to
Yeah.
run it by Kim, but I'm all for it. All right, you
Sounds
guys.
great.
If you haven't done so already, please head over to YouTube, which hopefully you're currently watching this on. If you're not watching this on YouTube, where are you watching this? Click on that red subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner. You guys, with the more subscribers the channel gets, the more watched content the channel gets. And with the more watched content, I get to make the show my full-time job. I don't have to do my silly flight attendant job anymore. Well, I mean, I do, but with the more... You understand what I'm talking about. If there's anything that you guys specifically want to talk about, send me an email at gottalovethemovies@gmail.com, and we'll make your email or topic, as long as it's family friendly, a main topic here on the show. Maybe even its own standalone video. Who knows? Ooh. Anyway, all right. So let's jump in. Let's take a little bit of movie news. Speaking of emails, our first bit of movie news comes to us from the Nerd Zone. Nerd Zone sends us an email today. Now, as you can see right down here, I have part of it blacked out because the subject line of his email says, news, do not read this if you haven't seen The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we're just putting spoilers out there now. Which, I mean, it's hard to live in a world online if you have if you have avoided up until this point spoilers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well because all of those pictures are flying. Excuse me, I've had a little too much bubbly. All the spoilers are flying. So if you haven't seen, if you're not up to date on the Falcon and Winter Soldier, click away, come back, watch this video at a different time. But that being said, here's what Nerd Zone has to say. He says, hey man, got some news for you. Captain America 4 is in the works after Sam Wilson's transformation into Captain America. Script is getting written now by the series creator. Check some sites. Yeah, so Captain America 4, if you guys aren't entirely sure what Nerd Zone is talking about, he's talking about this. Captain America 4 is, in fact, in development with the Falcon and Winter Soldier executive producer, Malcolm Spellman. And Malcolm Spellman will be writing the script for Captain America 4. What's it going to be about? We're not entirely sure. But here in this article from Deadline, they kind of give us a little sneak peek as to what he's thinking and feeling. It says, in the wake of Falcon and Winter Soldier's season finale last night on Disney Plus, the series showrunner, Malcolm Spellman, is already busy with Dallin Moussan on a fourth Captain America. Deadline can report. While not confirmed, that's an important thing to remember. While not confirmed, sources say the project Spellman is writing could be one focused on Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson character, while the possible Chris Evans Captain America project would be separate. So if you're not familiar with what this article is talking about, Chris Evans, who plays Captain America in all of the MCU movies, has been in talks, and reportedly he has agreed to come back into the MCU to reprise his role as Steve Rogers. In what capacity? We don't know. I mean, maybe Captain America 4 could be the evolution of Falcon's story, Sam Wilson's story, now taking on the mantle of Captain America. He now has the shield. People are calling him Captain America now. He's kind of in this world, at least in the show, he's being embraced and accepted as Captain America. It could make sense to have Chris Evans come into this picture a little bit, and whether it's time traveling younger Chris Evans, which I highly doubt, or the elder Joe Biden looking Captain America, that very well could be as well. Who knows? I mean, maybe Chris Evans makes no appearance in this whatsoever. Maybe the solo maybe the solo Chris Evans project is just Captain America 5 that takes place in the 1970s. I mean, that could be cool too. Who knows what capacity Chris Evans will or will not be involved in this. But Natalie, as you hear about this is not the first you've heard of this. You live in the same world that I do, in movies and nerddom and whatever. What are your knee-jerk reactions of Malcolm Spellman taking on the reins of writing a fourth Captain America film?
Well, my knee-jerk reaction to that is that, I mean, that's a good pick. The Captain America films, I feel like, have been really well written up until now. And please remind me, who was the writer on those films? It was
not Malcolm Spellman.
I know the director. No, it wasn't. But
I'll look that up for you.
I will say, I think that I got to give you my 2 cents on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So once again, if you made it this far, there are spoilers ahead of what I'm saying.
Dun, dun, dun.
I definitely appreciated the series as a whole. I like furthering the story of Sam Wilson. I'm 100% glad that they told this story and touched on some pretty heavy subjects for the MCU to have covered about this. I also think you couldn't have just had Anthony Mackie as Captain America in another Avengers film or in a future MCU film without having some kind of explanation about the transition. So I think that this series largely was meant to take that in. I also love other things. I love Bucky's rehabilitation, seeing him kind of adjust into the world, because I think the vast amount of the Bucky appearances in the MCU have been kind of sidelined to being not that well of a character. I love Zemo. I love Zemo in this. I might be alone in that. I love Zemo. I hope we see him come back in possibly a Captain America 4. That being said, there were some things that were pretty rocky. And I go back and question how much of that was pandemic related and how much of that was just kind of duct taping things together in a way that wasn't the smoothest, So there are some things, preferably, again, this is my filmmaker preference, I hope that they do not bring the directors to the fourth one.
Yeah.
There were some director choices in there that I just thought were real weird. And again, at the end of it wasn't it wasn't really pretty in the way everything was put together. Certainly not in the way everything was wrapped up. So that is my piece aside. So I think that definitely incorporating Malcolm Spellman into the fourth movie would be a great idea, especially if it's focused on Sam Wilson. I think that the stronger parts of the series were related to Isaiah Bradley and were much more Anthony Mackie character focused, so Sam Wilson focused. So I think that's a good role. As far as Steve Rogers coming back into the MCU, I think I'm with you. I'd be okay with him appearing in some smaller form in the past, because I think there are a lot of questions that canonically people are still like, well, wait, was he ever in a position where he could alter Bucky's storyline? Like, how could he like live through decades and just let Bucky be a part of Hydra, waiting for his future self to discover him all over again? So to me, that's one of those that's one of those questions that have always rattled around my brain, because I want to believe that Steve Rogers went back to 1945, 1940, and he has been living as an older version of himself throughout the entire MCU
Just
timeline.
as a side note, like, these are the problems that you get into when you introduce time travel into intricate, decades long, well, okay, maybe a decade long worth of storytelling. Just putting that out there.
No, exactly. I 100% agree with you, which is why I'm pretty sure the Russo brothers were like, and also Stephen McFeely, the writers were like, well, it's
Mr. McFeely. Sorry, your previous question, who wrote the first three Captain America movies? It was Christopher Marcus.
Christopher Marcus. Okay. So the Endgame writers, I think that they pretty much were like, we'll see. We'll see. We leave it up to the audience interpretation and future Captain America properties. I would also be okay with Joe Biden-esque Steve Rogers making a small appearance in Captain America 4. I don't think we need another Chris Evans-centric property, because I agree. Chris Evans did an amazing job as Cap. I think he had a great send-off in Endgame. Same thing with Robert Downey Jr. I'd be excited to see him around in some way, but I don't think we should cheapen Endgame by resurrecting these characters in the same form as before.
Agreed. And a lot of your points I also agree with wholeheartedly, Natalie. Like, let's go back to Malcolm Spellman for a moment. He brought out some really great aspects of storytelling, but let's also look at his background. He has written episodes of television for Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's been the executive producer on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He's written episodes and executive produced the TV show Empire. He's a television producer, and to get a television writer and television producer now to write a feature, I'm not saying he's not going to do a great job. I'm not saying he's not going to knock it out of the park. What I'm saying is that I'm cautiously optimistic as to what this Captain America 4 movie is going to be and how it's going to turn out. I love the idea of like the transfer of power from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson. I think that's awesome. I know there's a lot of people that aren't okay with that out there in the internet sphere, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, I guess. But for me and my taste, I think that's kind of cool. I am kind of looking forward. And let's be honest, the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier was, it totally made up for everything else. It was a slow-moving story. It was such a slow-moving story. And again, Natalie, to your point, why was Zemo there? You could have done... I mean, it was cool to see him back.
Just to get more Zemo. Yeah.
I mean, if
I think
this is all we get.
You know, I think... Exactly. But this is all we needed. But I do think they did a good job. Just to answer really quickly, I think that they did a better job of fleshing out Zemo as a villain and a complicated character, because he is sort of fascist, but then again is trying to fight against fascism. Better than, I will argue, that they fleshed out Sharon Carter as a villain. Right? Oof.
Ugh. But yeah, I mean, yes to all of that.
See John Walker back. I do want to see John Walker back. I do not think that was probably the most mishandled part of the last episode to
Yes.
me, because it's like he quotes Lincoln and we're cool now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Like, no.
About this?
You just murdered a dude yesterday. You do not get to
Exactly.
walk in here and be like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" Cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah. No.
completely mishandled there. That's why I wonder. Like it's so choppy.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see
anyway,
what
that's
they're going to
another
do with Madame
conversation.
Hydra. Or rather, Contessa Valentina, blah, 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 blah. Madame Hydra. I'm interested to kind of see. Like,
Yeah.
because again, Captain America and Hydra are like, that's, Batman and the Joker. It's,
Yeah.
they're kind of. Anyway, I'm interested to see where that's going to go. Like I said, I am interested to see what Malcolm Spellman is going to do. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not 1,000% on board because, he's a television guy. Kind of what he gave us from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Cautiously optimistic, but I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts about Captain America 4 happening? Do you think Chris Evans is going to be in it? What are your fan theories? Are you did you love Malcolm Spellman as a writer and executive producer on TFATWS?
WS. I've been abbreviating it to that for this whole time, and every time I mention like, "Did you guys watch TFATWS?" and people are like, "What the freak are you talking about?" I'm like, "It's too long to say the whole thing. There's no."
It's true. It is
Sure.
way too long to say the whole thing. But guys, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Jump on down to the comment section below. All right, let's move on to our next bit of Marvel cinematic universe bit of news. We know that there has been an Ironheart television show in development, or series rather, over at Disney Plus. Ironheart, if you're not familiar, it's Riri Williams, one of the I'm thinking strongest minds, one of the most brilliant minds in not just in the MCU, but in Marvel Comics. And now she's coming to Disney Plus and she's getting integrated. And now we have a writer in Chinaka Hodge. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Chinaka Hodge. Again, like Chinaka Hodge, she's known for her work on Snowpiercer. Again, she's coming from a television background. Snowpiercer, not exactly my taste. Natalie, forgive me. What's the other television series that that she was known for? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I'm just remembering Snowpiercer and how I really love the movie, and I realized that they're not, it's she did what didn't work on the movie, but I would say that's a difficult
Sorry, it wasn't the movie.
set
It was the
of.
television series Snowpiercer.
Exactly. So I realized she wasn't the writer on the movie.
Gotcha.
But that's a difficult movie to adapt to
Yeah.
television. So I'm pretty excited about the potential of her being able to adapt a comic series like Ironheart. I also that definitely in the MCU, for the most part, there are probably some red flags somewhere that I need to go back and take a look at and consider, but they have done a good job of casting or of selecting writers that are of the same race and gender as the characters they're supposed to be writing
Yeah.
for.
Well, they are now.
Now,
Took a little while to get there, but yeah.
was I'm trying to recall, was Captain Marvel one of those? I don't think it was.
I will look up who wrote Captain Marvel. I know it was dual director. Sorry, Chinaka Hodge also wrote on Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories for Apple
that I
TV
didn't
Plus.
know.
That was
Yes.
and I've seen a few episodes of it, and it's okay. It's not the most it tries to be like a lighthearted version of Twilight Zone, which cool. I mean, it's all right.
Weird. Interesting.
It's like it's an anthology series where like every story's a standalone thing. It's just, like in Twilight Zone, every story has its own moral, and it's like this dark and kind of like mysterious whatever. Amazing Stories is kind of the same way, but instead of having it be more dark and like, ooh, what's this creepy thing that's happening? It's like, wow, what's this majestic thing that's happening? Kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, same.
Well, how excited are you for Ironheart? What are your initial thoughts?
Okay, so I've never sat down and read Ironheart, but I know a decent amount about the character and the build-up and kind of where she comes from and why she's important in the comics. And I've always been a champion of Ironheart. In fact, I almost went out a few years ago. My local comic book store had this incredible Ironheart statue. And she was in the full, like, it's like Iron. She's in. If you're not familiar with Ironheart, she's like Iron Man, but like the child, younger version of it.
Yeah, she's like 15,
yeah,
16.
like something like that. And she has the same level of intellect as, let's say, Reed Richards or even Tony Stark himself, right? She's super brilliant, super brilliant. So she ends up building her own Iron Man suit. And she essentially cracks the code of how to make the arc reactor. Thank you. So she does it herself, and then she's like, "Hey, I can do this stuff," and so blah blah blah, whatever. She goes through her whole process, right? So I think that stuff is like super cool, super fun. When I heard about the TV series, I kind of jumped for joy a little bit. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this show has the potential to be something really, really special.
Yeah, it's one of the Disney Plus shows that I'm definitely more excited about. I also think it's super cool. Well, kind of to go back what we talked about earlier, I am excited to see Iron Man in some form or fashion, continuing in a way, because I think it does have a special place in the MCU. I don't need to see Tony Stark as Iron Man. So I'm more excited about, and it doesn't quite make sense, right, for Pepper Potts is in her rescue costume to come in and help the Avengers out. I think that was special for that time.
Well, she's got a whole company she needs to run.
Exactly. Definitely a Riri Williams, though, coming in and filling an Iron Man role. I think that's super cool.
Yes, there most definitely is like an Iron Man shaped hole in the MCU right now that was addressed by the latest Spider-Man movie, and it looks like they're going to continue addressing this throughout the Disney Plus shows and throughout some of the films coming up. I don't know. Yeah, I think you make a great point. Like Riri Williams, which, let's be honest, that's not the most. That name doesn't roll off the tongue. Riri Williams. It's a different.
I can say it. I don't know. I can say it just fine. Riri Williams. Oh no, you're right. I was trying to show you up, and it's terrible.
It's the double L.
It's
the double L in Williams
Riri
that like.
Williams.
Riri
Williams.
Riri.
I can say Riri.
Even just Riri. Riri Williams.
Riri Williams. Riri's easy, I think. Riri Williams, it does require some forethought. And I don't know. What do you think, guys?
We want to know, can you just record a 5-second video of yourself saying Riri Williams 5 times fast and email it to me at, where's my email address at? Email it to me at gottalovethemmovies@gmail.com. Just send me the email and 5-second video. No longer than 5 seconds, please. That's all we need.
I don't think I could do 5 times in 5 seconds. It's hard to do 3 times in a row. Period. Riri Williams, Riri Williams, Riri Williams. See, that was.
It's like saying toy boat over and over and over again.
Toy boat. Toy. You come from the improv world, so I feel like you know these tongue twisters better.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Unique New York.
It's all those things. Anyway, guys, we could go off about tongue twisters all day long, but I'm excited to see the Ironheart series. I'm excited that we now have a writer. I mean, I've always said in Kevin Feige we trust. I probably should have prefaced that with the Captain America 4 news, but hey, I'm saying it now. In Kevin Feige, I trust until he gives us a reason not to trust his judgment. I think all we can expect are good, wonderful, incredible things coming out of this MCU verse. But what do you think? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know what you think about everything. Literally everything. All right, guys.
Just anything that's out there.
Just whatever's on your mind. What do you think about this pencil, huh? This pencil. I don't know if you can read it. It says FOX. Oh, there it is. FOX. Oh. It's from You've Got Mail. Anyway, we've got a whole bunch of pencils with quotes from You've Got Mail on it. Patricia makes coffee nervous.
Okay, this is a part of your life that I had no idea. This is going to be a different episode topic as what the heck is up with these You've Got Mail pencils?
So side
who
note.
has that? That's not what I was expecting.
Well, okay, so here's the story, you guys. We're going to take a break for movie news very briefly. One of my best friends, Tracy Malls, she's actually been on the show before. Tracy and I have this thing. Before we even met, before we even became friends, before we met, I had this insatiable love of the movie You've Got Mail. It's a great movie. You got Tom Hanks. Yep. You got Meg Ryan. You got them doing their love dance, will they, won't they kind of thing. You got New York. You got Email.
Peak condition for both.
Peak condition, exactly. Yes.
Condition.
It's just a charming movie. It's so quotable. It's so fun. I really like it. And, I don't know. It's my hands down favorite rom-com of all time, period. So Tracy and I became friends, and it just kind of spawned like this whole, cause she loved it and then I loved it. And then we would sit down and watch it like once or twice a year together. And we would just quote it. Say hello to New Jersey. Hello, New Jersey. And getting those eggs harvested.
Pencils.
Yeah, I mean, a bouquet of sharpened pencils. Yeah, so anyway, for Christmas, my fiance Kim knows how much I love this movie. So there's this company, I can't remember the name of the company, but they make these pencils where they just put like quotes from various movies and whatever on the pencils. I got her a whole set of pencils with Schitt's Creek quotes on them. And then she got me, like, we didn't even know we were getting each other pencils for Christmas. It was just a happy accident. That caviar is a garnish.
I do like to shout
Go
that
to the
sometimes.
Mattresses. Oh, there it is. A bouquet of sharpened pencils. It's just like, this is just, I wanted it to be you. I wanted it to be you so badly. It's such a great movie. It's so quotable. You guys, if you have not seen You've Got Mail, I will forgive you if you stop watching this video right now, go out, watch You've Got Mail, and then come back and let me know how much you love that movie, because it's a great movie.
It is.
Okay, let's move on and take a little bit more movie news, shall we? All right, you guys. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. It was announced that you guys, we're getting a sequel to the Flintstones, an animated sequel to the Flintstones that picks up kind of where the original Flintstones left off. It's now 20 years later. It's being executive produced by Elizabeth Banks, whom Elizabeth Banks is absolutely amazing. She's going to be voicing the main character of Pebbles. If you're not familiar with the Flintstones, then you probably have no frame of reference for anything of what I'm talking about. So Elizabeth Banks is going to be playing the main character, Pebbles. She's in her 20s now, early 20s, presumably. She's off in the world. She's trying to make a name for herself. She's starting a career. And not only is she living in Bedrock, but Bedrock is starting to make the transition from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age. Presumably, bronze or metals have now been discovered in the world or the universe of Bedrock, of the Flintstones, and they're starting to use metals to build things with, as opposed to just building everything out of stone. I think this is a really cool idea. I'm going to jump into the article from Deadline here really quick. They say, yabba dabba doo, Elizabeth Banks' Flintstones prequel series sequel series Bedrock has landed at Fox. The network is developing the primetime animated adult comedy series with the Charlie's Angels and Hunger Games star set to voice Pebbles Flintstones, in addition to producing yada 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 yada, boilerplate. It goes on. Bedrock will follow the Flintstone family 2 decades after the original, with Fred on the brink of retirement and the 20-something Pebbles embarking on her own career. As the Stone Age gives way to a shiny and enlightened new Bronze Age, the residents of Bedrock will find this evolution harder than a swing from Bam Bam's Club. Again, if you don't get the Bam Bam's Club reference, you did not watch Flintstones and you don't know what you're talking about. Natalie,
yeah,
this sounds phenomenal on all levels to me. I've always loved the Flintstones. Who doesn't love the Flintstones? And I think it's fair to say not everything from the Flintstones holds up today. It was created in the 60s and it was a product of its time, and sometimes it reflected some of their biases and thoughts and feelings and whatever. So it's, like I said, it's not a perfect show, but
I also don't think, I mean, to echo on that, I don't necessarily think that the Flintstones, because it's been a moment, right? Like, the last major media property that was the Flintstones was the 1994 movie that starred
John Goodman, Rick Moranis, and John Goodman. So I remember, by the way, being a wee little toddler, not toddler, I wasn't that young, but watching the Flintstones in theaters. Like, I do remember that. And it's been a really long time since anything has kind of popped up since then that's really Flintstones related, at least in consumption. So I'm pretty sure that the whole move from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age is going to address some of the more colorful criticisms of, even if you go back and see like the 1994 movie, there are some things that I feel like for a kids movie may or may not have aged well. Agreed.
But that being said, I would be excited if, since this is an animated series, and Elizabeth Banks has been hot fire when it comes to producing things. Agreed. And getting things off the ground that you wouldn't have expected. I think it would be fun if we had some of the 1994 movie cast to come back and reprise their voice acting.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Reprise the roles in a voice acting sense. That would be exciting, that'd be fun. Right?
Now, one of the things about this project that gets me particularly excited is that they keep mentioning that this is an adult animation. So, and it's also going to Fox. So it's being, I know the name of The Simpsons has been thrown around in conjunction with this. Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. I don't think it's going to be quite as foul as Rick and Morty, which I absolutely adore. Rick and Morty, or Archer, same thing. I don't think it's going to be quite as foul as that, but I do think it's going to kind of still be in that same, like a Family Guy type vein. Now, again, when I was doing my research about this, I came across, I don't know if you remember this, 2014, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay almost did an animated movie together of the Flintstones. Of course, the whole thing fell flat. It didn't go anywhere. It never happened. And then a few years ago, Seth MacFarlane, he tried to do a Flintstones television series revival of the Flintstones, and that didn't happen either. And then now, here we are in 2021, we get the news and the announcement that, hey, guess what? Bedrock, it's happening. And I kind of like this idea a little bit better, as opposed to reviving what the original thing was. Yeah, I'm kind of cool with this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I did hear about the Seth MacFarlane project that was passed on. That would have been really interesting. But I'm glad that it's kind of still moving forward. And if you guys know enough about Elizabeth Banks's the kind of comedic circle that she runs in, she's obviously a really funny and I think underutilized comedic actress. She's definitely been in some of the funnier. What was the one? My favorite Kevin Smith film. I think it's Zack and Miri Make a Porno. I think it's because Elizabeth Banks is so gorgeous that people tend to not think of her as like this comedic kind of
Yeah.
gold mine. And yeah, I'm excited. I'd definitely be on board with her producing a.
Well, it's kind of it's kind of a similar thing of sorry, I'm trying to resize your window and talk at the same time. It's kind of a similar thing where you look at Margot Robbie. You look at
Oh
Margot
my gosh.
Robbie and you think, oh, she's not a producer, but she's a phenomenal producer. She makes some of the best stuff. Bombshell, she was behind. I don't know if you saw Bombshell, but that was a great movie.
It was
I
amazing.
know the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn did not get a lot of favorable reviews, but I got to be honest, you guys, I kind of loved it. I really enjoyed that movie, like a lot.
Tonya.
I, Tanya,
Amazing film.
yes.
Academy Award nominating and or winning, right?
True.
There was a win. There was a win. It was winning.
Was it Allison Janney?
It was Allison Janney. Yeah, yeah. And that was a great film.
So good.
Very funny. Really, really funny too.
It's true. Sorry, you guys, I'm getting a little distracted with Natalie's video. I'm trying to it decided to resize itself. So now in the middle of talking and producing, I'm also trying to resize windows. But as I'm doing all of that, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts about the Flintstones sequel series, Bedrock, from Elizabeth Banks? I think it's a kind of a slam dunk, but that's just me. It may float belly up. Who knows? Who knows? How well do you think it's going to be? Are you looking forward to it? What do you think it's going to be like? Jump on down in the comment section below and let us know. All right, guys, our next bit of movie news we're going to spend all of 30 seconds talking about. And Mission Impossible's back in the news, you guys. Tom Cruise is hanging off the side of a train. And let me show you this photo real quick. Natalie, you and I were having discussions about this. Like, should we even talk about this today? Here's the photo that director Christopher McQuarrie posted on his Instagram. Yeah, Tom Cruise is hanging off the side of a train, you guys.
Hey, well, it's no secret that you are a big Mission Impossible fan. I vote that we have a new segment of each episode called Mission Impossible Watch. And it's you, just like perusing the internet for that day's stunt photo of Tom Cruise hanging off of something. Whether it's a train, a plane, the edge of sanity, he's hanging off of something at all times. Give me the photos.
Natalie, I will be completely honest. This photo does not get me more excited for the movie. I will tell you what does get me. I know, right? I will tell you what does get me more excited for this movie. The previous films that came before, specifically the partnership between Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie. Oftentimes when you get a guest director to kind of step into a franchise and do a movie or a picture, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes or rather the first one lands and then we're like, hey, that went so well, we're going to have you back to do another one, and it falls flat on its face. And I'm looking directly at you, Sam Mendes, with the James Bond franchise. Boo on you. But with Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise, they've got a great partnership here. So this set photo does not get whatever kind of a photo you want to call it. It does not get me more excited for the movie, but just the fact that this movie's happening, that's what gets me excited. And I'm waiting for the trailer. Where do you stand on this?
Trailer, I think, is overdue. Some of these films have, when I've been like, I'm good, I don't need any more, I got really excited about them just by watching the trailer. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Mission Impossible 3 one of those far out? Like, it was J.J. Abrams, correct, right, as the director? But did he do another?
J.J. Abrams did not, but his production company has continued. Bad Robot has continued to produce. Films, yes.
I also really liked Ghost Protocol, the Brad Bird entry, which I thought was really interesting.
Very first directorial debut, or live action, rather.
Yeah, live action. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tom Cruise watch. It's out there.
So
We're gonna do it. Mission Impossible Cruise Watch.
yes, I'm
Mission
Cruise Watch. I'm all for it, guys. Does this photo get you more excited, less excited? Are you ambivalent? Are you asking yourself, why did Mike even make a video about this? Does this even matter? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Okay, you guys, we've got one last bit of news to take. Natalie has a hard out in 15 minutes, so we're going to try and keep her on time. There's speculation. There is speculation that Christina Ricci is going to come back into the Addams Family franchise, playing Morticia, playing her own mother, essentially, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, this news, as I say, it is speculation. It is coming from the Illuminati website. That's all the source of all this particular information. We know that Tim Burton is currently working on his first ever television series of, well, ever, but it is also of the Addams Family, which follows Wednesday Addams through kind of prep school, kind of like post-high school kind of thing, and she's going through kind of living her life, doing her thing, and so there's a little bit of speculation that Christina Ricci might come back to play Morticia in the show, in the series. I am not, if this rumor is true, I don't love it. I'll be honest. I think a lot of people there's a lot of nostalgia that is associated with this Natalie. People often love, myself, I mean, look at everything that I have back behind me. I love nostalgia. I love revisiting stuff. But I don't know if this is the best idea.
You know, I will optimistically disagree in the sense that I'm excited to type of Wednesday Addams. I would be excited to see the series reframed from a young woman perspective. The Christina Ricci thing reminds me of, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, somebody photoshopped Christina Ricci's head onto a model of, like, it was a photo where it portrayed her as Morticia Addams. And I know the internet was super into that. They're like, yes, similar to like the way people have photoshopped, secret images or poster art for Beetlejuice 2. And I think that's a thing that is happening, actually. But so, I mean, that's cool. I don't think that she would say no. I did like Addams Family and Addams Family values. Take it or leave it. I definitely like the first one. I think Angelica Houston is
Angelica Houston is brilliant as Morticia. And they're in. It's a hard act to follow.
Yes.
I mean, especially when you are known for playing a completely different character within the same universe, and now you kind of have to follow that. I don't know. I
think that Christina Ricci could do it. She is a good actor. Very much in a while, and I think people kind of sleep on that. So I think she's a great actress. As far as doing another Wednesday Addams property, right? Or another Addams Family property, one that's focused on Wednesday. Again, I think it's execution. I really liked the execution of the Sabrina series on Netflix. And that was something that arguably I've been like, oh, we don't need that. But the way they actually pulled it off was really interesting, really fresh. I'd be interested in something like that.
I could get behind that. Yeah. If you lean into kind of the more satanic nature of these characters and like what makes them dark, I think that could be really interesting. I don't know if the satanic nature is appropriate per se for the Addams Family, but just kind of lean into the darkness a little bit. Yeah, and I wonder,
I'm struggling to remember, because I remember when this news about this series first broke, and I think you and I talked about it on the show. I'm trying to remember if it was more fun of the chilling adventures of Sabrina. Like, wasn't it like a partial like crime investigation thing? I feel like there's some
that I don't remember
themes of that. Maybe I'm making that up. I feel like I read that in an article. Obviously, don't quote me on it. But that would be cool. That would be very cool. Way way more interesting. And what else would they do with the character? Like, except set her up for
That's true. Yeah.
Scooby-Doo type mysteries, but it would be cooler if it was a dark side.
I would love
to
that
it.
crossover.
Awesome.
Yeah. Medusa.
I think they did that actually. They did do that in the new Scooby-Doo mysteries. I'm sure they did. Oh wait, in the old ones too.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, the Addams Family and the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. That was one of the major guests they would have on. I remember this episode.
Well, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I
was super obsessed with Scooby-Doo from like ages 5 through now.
And I will do my Scooby-Doo impression every chance I get, because it's one of the few that I can actually do. So,
yes.
Thanks for watching, Dudley. Like Zoink Scoop, we gotta get out of here and talk about other movie news. Scooby news. All right. That was...
Your Scooby is on point, I gotta say. It's on point.
My Bill Cosby is also on point, but I'm not allowed to do that one anymore because, society, and he's...
Not as relevant.
Nope, not allowed to do
not
it. Anyway, guys, what do you think of Christina Ricci possibly coming back to play Morticia Addams? First of all, do you think this rumor is true? Do you think that the Illuminati is credible? Do you want to see it? Do you think this is a good idea? Or more like me, like, nah, I'm good. What are your thoughts? Jump on down to the comment section below. All right, guys. A lot of you have been firing in live comments and questions all show long, so we are gonna go take your live comments and questions now.
It's alive! It's alive!
All right, you guys, you've been firing in live comments and questions all show long, and we have got a lot of them. So we're going to jump right in. First and foremost, Natalie, how are you doing on time? I know you have to be out of here in 8 minutes or less.
I would love to listen to the first question and then I don't know what this action was. It's like floating on an ocean.
Yep.
Maybe I'm doing a luau.
Well, I'm going to let you luau, and while you luau, I'm going to jump into the first message here. From Nerd Zone says, "This is now my favorite show on YouTube." What? Get out of here, Nerd Zone. You're the best. Thank you. Just a laid-back, nerdy show that talks to the audience. Well, that's the whole premise. That's everything of what I've built the show on, and that's exactly what I want to be. So thank you so much. Nerd Zone continues, Natalie always starts the technical issues. LOL. Oh, Natalie, shots have been fired.
But you know what? I'm glad I stayed for this question. Hang on. Hold my glass. Let me tell you something. You don't know what it's like to be relegated to AT&T's fiber. It's really just old DSL lines. Surprising. So you might be right, but if you're a pawn for AT&T right now and you're trying to get me to upgrade, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. I'm not gonna. Now I don't even know if you're really who you say you are.
Wow.
You could be some AT&T sponsored state troll.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Nerd Zone lives in the UK. So being a spokesperson for AT&T, I don't see that happening. But who knows? Maybe Nerd Zone is like a quadruple spy.
Maybe. That would be crazy. I do appreciate Nerd Zone's constant questions. He has the best
Nerd Zone
ones
gives
so
us
far,
stuff to talk
in my
about.
opinion. Yes, he does. All is questions about holes and stuff. I don't know. Very inappropriate. Very inappropriate comments.
I hope.
From my peanut
Loopholes. Yes, loopholes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump back in here for a second. Nerd Zone says, good news for you getting married. Thank you so much, Nerd Zone. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Like I said, it's coming up this fall, and more details and more announcements are going to be made. It's going to be pretty fun. Nerd Zone says, my ma'am and my stepdad are getting married in May. What? That's incredible, dude. Congratulations to your mom and stepdad. I think that's pretty awesome. Or rather, is he your stepdad yet? I'm just semantics, just talking semantics. Nerdzone says, I don't want it to be a big sequel. I want it to be its own thing. I think you're talking about Captain America 4. I don't want it to be a sequel. I want it to be its own thing. Sam Wilson's Captain America. It should be called New Captain, New Journey. That, Natalie, actually raises a good point. Because up until now, we've had Captain America, the First Avenger, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War. So with a new face, a new person taking on the mantle of Captain America, should we change the title a little bit? Should we tweak it a little bit? What are your thoughts?
I would be okay with Captain America, New Journey.
That's kind of a cool title.
See, we were talking about colon again.
You and your loop holes.
Now I'm going to luau out, everybody.
Where are we? Akshana. Oh, man. Where did we go? Akansha. I hope I'm saying that correctly. My apologies. Akansha Jaswal. Are you excited for DC Fandom in October? Am I excited for it? I will say no. I am most likely going to be in attendance. October, depending on what the dates in October are, because spoiler alert, there's a wedding happening pretty right around that time. And then there's New York Comic-Con, which I believe will be in person, and then DC Fandom, all right around the same time. So it's going to be a bit of an overload for me. Am I excited for it? Maybe not excited. I think excited's the wrong word for me. Natalie, what do you think?
Same thing. Yeah, sure. I'm excited.
Cool.
Period. That's it.
Cool. Where'd we go? Nerdzone says, wait, what? DC Fandom October? Yes. And that, see, here's the thing about this community, you guys, is that when we have events like this, COVID has really given us the opportunity to have more global events, which we've never really had. Like, we have have had the technology to do, but we've never really taken advantage of it yet. And I think this is a really great opportunity to bring people together, to have public forums like this where we can all kind of like mesh and get together and be like, hey, this is happening, bring it all together. I mean, Natalie, you and I attend San Diego Comic-Con every year when it's, in person.
When it's there.
Yeah. And that is quite a special thing. And doing a virtual version of that takes some of the specialness away. It just disappears, dries up, goes away. So, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on, just DC Fandom as an opportunity?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. It's still going to be a digital event, right? Is it going to be in person? I think it's digital, but if it is, I do also understand and sympathize with the millions and millions and millions of people for whom San Diego Comic-Con is not accessible, or New York Comic-Con or things like that. Not just because of cost and also the exclusivity. I like the idea of, especially studios, and especially DC in particular, maintaining some kind of digital meeting for their content, because I think that's I think it's super important to kind of migrate that from Comic-Con. And it feels to me like, I don't know if this is true. I feel like Warner Brothers never really gets out of Comic-Con the investment that they put in. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know. I think doing something digital would allow more global opportunity.
So to answer your question, it was an hour and 15 minutes ago that news dropped about this. Where am I? This is on Deadline. So literally just before the show started, October 16th is when DC Fandom is taking place. October 16th, DC Fandom. And the first edition came after much of the entertainment industry's in-person events were shuttered over the past year. August's event live streamed available. Yeah, so it sounds like this is going to be another live stream event. Yeah. With that, at this point, Natalie, I would love to have you continue on, but I know that you've got other stuff, other places, other people you got to hang out and talk to and things you got to do. Tell us, just before you go, where people can find you online.
Always follow me. The way to keep track of that is at @comic_Connie.
Yay! Natalie,
Yay!
thanks so much for hanging out and chit-chatting and talking all things movies and movie news with us. Hope to see you. We won't see you next week. Hopefully the week after.
Yep, we'll see.
And TBD.
Meaning I don't know what's happening in 2 weeks. That's the way I live my life, 1/4 mile at a time.
We do what we got to do. All right, have a great day, Natalie. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, guys, let's jump back in here and take some more live comments and questions. Nerd Zone, let's bring this up to the top, shall we? Where did I lose my place? Okay, Nerd Zone, I want to bring Prince Philip back from the dead as old Steve. Ooh, deep cuts, sir. I don't know if I'm allowed to, not being a Brit myself, I don't know if I'm allowed to weigh in with an opinion on this one. Prince Philip back from the dead as old Steve. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, old Steve Rogers already looks like Joe Biden. So, I mean, why can't we do a little makeup presentation a little bit to make him look a little bit more like Prince Philip? I mean, sure. Why not? Nerdzone says next week is going to be amazing, especially with it being a special day. If you know what I know. Apparently, I don't know what you know. Next week is going to be amazing, especially with it being a special day. If you know what I know. I think I might need a little more clarification on this. I might know. In all full disclosure, I might indeed actually know what you know. I just don't know if I know what you know that you're referencing that I know that you know. You know? Improv Gaming says, did you see season 2 of it's a question. Do you see a season 2 of Winter Falcon before or after Captain America 4? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I made this public knowledge on this show. Up until the final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was pretty confident that Falcon and Winter Soldier was only going to be one season, or rather it was going to be a limited series. And then news started coming out about Disney nominating it for very specific things, for the Emmys, for Emmy nominations, that kind of thing, right? And people are saying, oh, well, WandaVision has been submitted as a limited series, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier has been submitted for like a recurring series, like essentially that kind of a thing, right? So like we started hearing news about that, and then especially the way this last episode ended, that's what convinced me. It was like, okay, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a season 2. And the way that you phrase your question, Improv Gaming, is pretty much the same. Yeah, I feel like you feel you're confident there's going to be a season 2, right? Cool. So, that being said, if there indeed is going to be a season 2, which I think we all kind of collectively agreed there is going to be one, is it going to happen before or after Captain America 4? Here's the thing. I don't think we know enough details, to be quite honest. I don't think we know enough details as to what second season is going to be like. I think we kind of have a general idea as to what season 2 is going to be like. But let's also think about this in chronological order for a moment. Typically, season 2 happens the next year after season 1 comes out, right? So And being that season 1, if it is indeed season 1, it was supposed to come out last year. So it means that they already know where season 2 is going to go. Who knows? They might actually be filming season 2 right now. They might be. So there's that. So sorry for so much dead air. I'm just thinking about this in real time. Given that little bit of information, it might be more prudent for them to do a season 2 before Captain America 4. Unless they want to hold everyone on pins and needles and, get the story to Captain America 4. You know what? I'm going to go on record. I think it's going to happen before. That's my official position. Nerd Zone says, I feel like they ain't even going to do a second season. Yeah, literally just talking about that's what I was thinking up until the last episode, but the way that they ended it, I really do feel like they are going to do a second season. I really do. I don't think that these events are going to lead into a big screen adaptation. Not that it can't. Of course, it most certainly can. It just seems a little low stakes for what a movie could be. But then, I mean, who knows? Like, they could do anything, They could do anything. Nerdzone says, I wonder what they are going to do with Ironheart with Tony Stark as her AI. Will RDJ return? I don't... Here's the thing. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is also known as the Marvel Cinematic Fake Death Universe, right? I've heard a lot of YouTubers talk about that. That all the deaths that happen within the MCU are fake. That they don't actually hold. They don't actually stay dead. So far, Quicksilver has been the only real permanent death. I guess an argument could be made that Coulson is also a permanent death, although the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off television series disproves that theory. But, then again, he's still out there, I don't think I don't think Tony Stark is going to come back. If RDJ does come back, I think there's going to be a story with Riri Williams stumbling across a series of videos or like video instructions on how to build your own Iron Man suit, like something like that. I think of course we're going to get an RDJ cameo or appearance or something at some point down the line. Most likely. I mean, come on. Yeah, I think it's going to be something along those lines. I don't know if he's actually going to end up returning, or maybe like a life model decoy. Who knows? Maybe RDJ was working, or Tony Stark. Maybe Tony Stark was working on a life model decoy of himself, and that's how we're going to get Tony Stark back into the MCU. Who knows? I don't know. Nerdzone says, I'm going to get pencils now that have quotes from Anakin and Padme's love in Attack of the Clones. Oh, man. I hate sand. It's so coarse and grainy. That's the pencil you need, sir. That's the pencil you need. Oh, I hate that movie so much. Who knows? Maybe you love it. I don't know. Nerdzone says, that means I'm going to have to put I don't like sand on a pencil. Right here. Great minds. Like we're so in sync right now, Nerdzone. Nerdzone. OMG, I think that's Yorkshire's train. Oh man. See, again, like the problem with me reading these comments after the fact of what, like, we've moved on from talking about something else. I don't quite am able to grasp specifically, tangibly what it is that you're referencing. Oh my gosh, I think that's Yorkshire's train. We were just talking about. Was it the Flintstones? Oh man, I am so sorry. I don't know what that's in reference to. Nerdzone continues. Also, I still need to watch the Harley Quinn animated series. Yes, you do. It is so good. Kaylee Cuoco is great casting choice as a Big Bang fan. As a Big Bang fan. I'm also excited for MODOK, which has a new trailer. I've seen the new trailer for MODOK. It's exactly what I want it to be. It looks to be exactly what I want it to be. It just looks lovely. It looks lovely. I love Patton Oswalt. I love the bonkers concept that this is. I think it's going to be wonderful. And yes, you need to watch the animated Harley Quinn series. And here's one of the things that I love about the Harley Quinn animated series is that every episode is about something. Like I guess you could make a similar argument for Rick and Morty. Like there's still kind of a moral at the heart of each Rick and Morty episode. Not so much with Family Guy. I mean, their morals are more kind of like on the surface and, hey, don't be a jerk and life treats you well, like that kind of thing. But every episode of the animated Harley Quinn show, like, really gets deep sometimes. Like, they really do. They get philosophical. They bring up, like, really poignant things to talk about, and I think it's brilliant. Like I completely love that show. I really genuinely do. Nerdzone says, has Tim Burton done nostalgia before? So in reference, Tim Burton is doing his very first television series and bringing, if indeed the rumors are true that Christina Ricci is being considered to come back and play Morticia, that definitely is going to hit on a lot of nostalgic vibes, right? But it brings up an interesting question of, has Tim Burton done nostalgia before? To my knowledge, now somebody else can probably correct me on this, but to my knowledge, Tim Burton has only ever done one sequel, and that's Batman Returns. Somebody correct me on this if I'm wrong. But to the extent of my knowledge, I believe that's true. I know he was working on Beetlejuice 2, and I believe that's fallen through. I don't know if that's still happening. You know, it's an interesting thing. And you know, you say Tim Burton, but it also kind of brings up an interesting question of like Steven Spielberg. Let's go back to a lot of the popular filmmakers of the 80s. And I specifically reference the 80s because the 80s was a very special time in cinema. It was a very special time in cinema. Precursor to the modern 80s cinema was the 1970s hits like Jaws or Star Wars. We're starting to get like these big budget action sci-fi adventure films. Jaws yes, it's a horror movie, but it's an adventure horror movie, right? I think that's what makes it so fun and engaging, is that yes, it's a horror movie, but it's more than one genre. Yes, Star Wars is sci-fi, but it's also an adventure, and so I think those kinds of movies, we would not have the type of cinema, even with Tim Burton, that we had in the 80s if it wasn't for some of these precursors. And what Tim Burton brought to the screen, really, is his own flavor, his own sense, his own style, and that in and of itself is nostalgic. So I guess an argument could be made existentially that anytime Tim Burton makes a movie, whatever that movie happens to be, that it is in some way nostalgic. So has Tim Burton done nostalgia before? I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe, just for the sheer sake that he is such a purist of his own style? Maybe, I don't know. Nerdzone continues, wait, did I see the Chewbacca concept art pop up in the background of Gotta Love Them Movies? I ordered Veda and Yoda, but it didn't come. Are you referencing specifically what is behind me? Because I don't know if I have any Star Wars. Like, I've got a small Star Wars collection over on this side. I don't think if indeed that is what you're talking about. I don't believe I don't have a lot of Star Wars stuff here. It's primarily Avengers and Ninja Turtles. Unless that's not specifically what you were talking about. Wait, did I see the Chewbacca concept art pop up in the background? Gotta love them movies. I ordered the Vader and Yoda, but it didn't come. Again, send me a little clarification on that if you don't mind. Okay. So Nerd Zone in a previous Nerd Zone in a previous message up here asked mentioned something along the lines of like, next week is gonna be huge, and I was like, wait, what am I missing? Yes, you are correct, sir. Nerd Zone, May the 4th, next week, man. Let me just say, like, for the here and now, planning for a wedding is my blanket excuse for everything. Why did you forget this? Well, I'm planning a wedding. Yeah, but why did you forget that? I'm planning a wedding. That's going to be my blanket excuse for now. Yes. May the 4th. Maybe I'm going to lose my nerd card for this, guys. Maybe I'm going to lose my nerd card. But I don't plan up to it. I usually realize that it's May the 4th the night before. And I'm like, oh yeah, tomorrow's May 4th. May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day. I usually don't, it's not like Con where like I plan it out months in advance. Or like even my birthday, I usually don't plan my birthday until maybe like a week before. Not that I plan my birthday. I don't start thinking about my birthday until like the week before. I kind of forget, right? It's November 13th is my birthday. So like, I've got all this like build up to Halloween, right? And then of course, like in the United States, we have American Thanksgiving that we think about, which is towards the end of November. And my birthday is like a happy medium, right in between Thanksgiving and Halloween. So like sometimes I kind of forget that I'm having a birthday. So I'm gonna give myself a pass on that. But yes, you are correct. Earlier, you were talking about a train. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about with the train. You said the train, meaning Mission Impossible. Let me see if I can go back to this. Let's see. Tony Stark, Captain America, Nerd Zone, Prince Philip, Pencils, Anakin, RDJ. Oh my gosh, I think that's Yorkshire's train. Got it. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. The photo of Tom Cruise hanging off the side of let me see if I can get this photo back up here for a second. It's a photo of Tom Cruise hanging off the side of a train. Boom! Director Christopher McQuarrie posted onto his Instagram. You say that you believe that is the Yorkshire train. I wouldn't know. I'm gonna have to take your word on that, Nerd Zone. I've never. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually been to Yorkshire. I've been to the Midlands. I used to teach classes in the Midlands from time to time, improv classes out in the Midlands. But yeah, that's one of the places I have not been. I've not been on the Yorkshire train, but if it is, that's pretty awesome. And that's another thing about worldwide filmmaking that I love, that I just absolutely love, is that when we start hearing about like movies being like, it's personal for me whenever movies get shot in New York, because it's like, oh, I love it, right? I love it. I get to see the television show Luke Cage. Sorry, I'm getting super excited about this. The television show Luke Cage on Netflix. Not a good show. I don't recommend it. The first 6 episodes of season 1 were brilliant. Everything else was terrible. My personal opinion. But that television show was shot here in my neighborhood. Pops's barbershop. Pop's Barbershop. I know exactly where that, like, I could walk to that corner in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Like, it is very, very close to where I live. So I love seeing that, like, my neighborhood be turned into movie memorabilia. Or like people take the Sex and the City tour around New York all the time. Or, I mean, the Upper West Side. You can go, previously we're talking about, You've Got Mail, FOX. It's hard to see yellow on yellow, but you know what I'm talking about. Go on a walking tour of You've Got Mail, or like any movie, anywhere kind of thing, right? So anytime that you see a major landmark or something that you're familiar with pop up in a movie, take Avengers, was it Infinity War? I think it was Avengers Infinity War. The whole big fight sequence that takes place in Edinburgh, in Scotland. I am intimately familiar with that neighborhood, with that area on the Royal Mile, because I've been there multiple times. Being a flight attendant, and I get to fly around the world, I've been to Edinburgh so many times, and so that sequence I'm instantly familiar with. So I get to watch that sequence of Infinity War, and I get to fall in love with it over and over and over again, because it takes me back to a place that I've actually been to. So if you have actually been on this train, on the Yorkshire train, that Tom Cruise is hanging off the side of, how cool is that? I love that kind of stuff. And I love that we were able to talk about this and express these emotions and these opportunities and all this kind of stuff. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Any connections that we get to have. And that's the thing. We get to have connections with these movies. Oh, I love it so much. I think that's gonna do it for the show today, you guys. I think we've basically talked about everything that we're gonna talk about. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your comments and your questions, specifically from Nerd Zone, from Improv Gaming, from Akansha Jaiswal. I sure hope that I'm saying that properly. My apologies if I'm not. Thanks so much for giving us stuff to talk about and being part of the conversation. I look forward to seeing and hearing back from you guys again next week when we do another live show. You guys, like, the flight attendant job is getting in my way of doing this show daily. I used to do it daily. I can't now because I'm not on furlough. So until I get furloughed again, which is not likely, being that the pandemic is starting to clear up a little bit, at least a little bit, means I'm going to be flying more. And flying more, I'm not going to be able to do this show every single day. So for right now, I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to give you guys an outlet and just a place to come to. We can just talk about our favorite stuff in the world, movies and movie news. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much for sticking around. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. You guys, if you haven't already done so, hit like if you like this video. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share, because that is exactly what Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible would want you to do. You guys, we live in a weird, crazy world where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse just a little bit of kindness into the world, please, I implore you, take that opportunity, speak kind words to each other, and in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. I will see you guys next time.